barrel. Move better in silence, less carbs, keep the guard balance. A million laws can't involve balance. A million bars, this is star talent. The blog's challenge, but my catalog's as hard as Hamlet's street version. Been about it, I'm a beast at curbing. Deep sermons, any drama, karma keep a curving.
Hello world, welcome to another episode of After the Break. Today's conversation is going to be one that's much needed. We see the dire need and desperation to reach out to our young men and youth in the Black community in hopes that we can reach our peers who can also sow seeds in the lives of the young men in their community. When we look into cities like Memphis, who currently has the highest crime rate and murders in America, we know that we desperately need and get into the ear and the minds of our youth. So there I have with me my good brother Jugg.
Yes, sir.
How you doing today, good brother?
Oh man, I'm good, man. Blessed. Here to see another one, man. Here to teach another one.
Man. Hey, we see now, man, what the brother said, each one teach one.
Yes, sir. Man, that's a part of the problem why a lot of this generation is going to ride the way they have, because it was a generation. Everybody, every community got the street level people. It was a generation where the street level guys quit looking out for the guys underneath them, quit teaching them. You know what I'm saying? Now, I ain't saying it's no right way to teach crime, but I'm saying it's just about teaching morals. You know what I'm saying? The OGs set the moral standard for the hood, and it got to a certain age group, somewhere around 2007, 8, 9, 10, that those youngsters just became about self. So they didn't reach back and teach the ones behind them. And then now you got a whole generation of mass murderers. And I'm not blaming them, guys. I can't say they making them pull the trigger, but trust me, that code of moral conduct, it take you a long way, man. The mafia implemented that in what they had going on. Certain people don't sell drugs. We don't deal in drugs. You deal in drugs, you die. All of that, that's having rules within the underworld, you know what I'm saying?
So this is not to glorify that side of life, but we just have to be real in our conversations. When I was coming up, we did have that, even from our elders who weren't in the streets at that time. They still encouraged us on how to move as men, period, in order to protect yourself and keep yourself free. I want to send a shout out to some guys that I saw in my community as how they moved as men with a level of discipline. I get intoxicated with some of the guys in the neighborhood, going to work every day, you know what I'm saying, taking care of their children, encouraging us to work hard and get jobs. I want to send a shout out to Big Mike, you know what I'm saying, 2P. To me, man, was a stand-up guy. He had his construction job. He was right there in the mix, in the thick of it, and could have been in it. But I watched him, man, go to work, take care of his house. You know what I'm saying? Encourage us, encourage our homeboy Popcorn them and Jermaine them. And so shout out to Big Mike, man. That's who showed that even though you're around and you ain't got to get in the mix.
That's true. And we got other leaders in the community. I'm glad you shouted them out. There's other leaders in the community that when you see these type of platforms, podcasts, TV shows like American Gangster, you don't hear them talk about the guys like a Reverend DuPont and Coach Smith, Charles Smith from Peabody. Guys who dedicated their entire life to making sure the youth got something to do positive, giving them skill sets. You know what I'm saying? Like, those people go underlooked in in a lot of facets of celebration. Let me say that. They don't get their flowers like they should, man. So I want to send a shout out to those guys. And those are just the two I can name. And there's a couple white men that I know played that role in where we from. When I come up on the baseball circuit, it was a couple white men that made sure you had everything you needed if this was what you was trying to do. So salute to them guys too, man, because it got guys that ain't did nothing in the street element at all that also contributed to the way the community was policed and just the thought process of the way that we carried along.
That's something that really disheartens me when I used to hear some of the rapper guys say, man, we ain't had no doctors in our community, no lawyers, nobody to look up to. Then we can look at and say what's positive role model. That's some bullshit, dog. Because it was always men in the community that did well for themselves and their family that wasn't out there in the streets. When you look at all the properties in the hood, they all were purchased by the elders, our grandfathers, great-grandfathers. And another conversation is, man, I ain't gonna work a job 30 years. This is how I look at it, Jugg. When you look at the houses that's in the hood today, most of them houses are paid for. And to discredit what they saying, none of those elders ever lost their properties. The houses wasn't up for foreclosure, and the property still in their name to this day, and they dead and gone. So there's success. You feel me? So I don't get into that conversation because we saw success around us our whole life, man. It's just really what we chose to gravitate to.
There was a culture shift, and we ain't blaming nothing or nobody. But it was a time when we recognized when Mr. Aaron them down the street was successful. We know they got 2 cars, 3 cars. They got a fenced-in yard, the old school double fence, just the driveway. You know what I'm saying? You got to open that sucker to get your car out. And we know all them people. We saw that in the neighborhood. We know success when we seen. My grandfather owned a paint company my entire life. Never worked for nobody. You understand what I'm saying? My wife, my grandfather, real light skin. You'll think he a white man, get you, but black as me and you, Cane River. And I've never seen him work a job in my life. You know what I'm saying? So you can't tell me. And he had a payroll, had my family work for him forever. You get what I'm saying? So we saw success. It was just a culture shift with the hip hop thing. We just gonna call it a spade. It was a time around from 99 to about 2005 to where the culture changed, and what we saw as successful from that point on was a mansion and a Range Rover and a Bentley. That's when all those things was introduced. See, I'm straight from the culture. I played the streets and I played the culture hard. And I can sit here and tell you what I bear witness to. They always had nice things. If you listen to all those stories or all those, the mafia and the drugs and the kingpin and stuff, they always had nice Cadillacs. But it was a culture shift to go from Cadillac being the top of the line vehicle that we would aspire to have to where it became Bentley and Rolls Royce. So it was just a culture shift, man. And these youngsters just got a different idea of what success is. We saw it. Me and you understood what success was, because I know a few of the D-boys that's, say, 2 years above me, and I hate to keep going to the streets. But I'm going to talk about what I know. Like you said, we're going to talk about it from a factual standpoint. I'm not going to fabricate and speak about it from a standpoint of somebody that was raised right, worked a job his whole life, and having a conversation at 45. Right. That's not my story. Right. My story was I seen street guys, and there was a few of them, because not very many of them even get out or get to buy no house. But the ones I saw bought the houses we speaking of, they went and bought the same house that the man that worked for FedEx bought. You know what I'm saying? It was just this new culture around 2000, and I lived it because I aspired to do it, and I did it. Okay. Around that culture when we started looking to go to the suburbs, and now we want to be in many mansions, and, Mercedes crazy. It got to a point to where, a lot of these guys using Mercedes as their everyday car because the Bentley is the aspiration and the Rolls Royce. But, yeah, man.
When we was coming up, materialism became the thing. Not more.
Higher level. It's always been materialism, just a higher level. It was a culture shift. They always chased it, Frank Lucas had mink jackets. Them boys out of Detroit, Nicky Barnes, the nice suits with the butterfly colleges. The styles changed, and what we aspired to get. Materialism always controlled the underworld.
Like, okay, because you talked about when we came up, right?
Yeah.
Like when we was coming up, okay, that's right, that's true. Because I wore him down to the 6th grade. You know what I'm saying? So when I hit junior high and started moving a little bit, yeah, I wanted the fashion. I started buying Nike, started buying Reeboks. I got into materialism. But in my case, I was also taught to be low key. As far as I went was like the Kaplans, get some polo. You know what I'm saying? Start shopping at dealers, get a little Nautica, stuff like that. Wow. So I really didn't get into designer until 2000s. You know what I'm saying? Early 2000s. But even then, I still didn't do it too much because I just didn't like the attention. I rode Cadillac and stuff like that, man. Once I got a taste of materialism on another level, like you mentioned, I didn't like it. Yeah, I didn't like it because everybody that was coming to me was fake. So I just didn't like that because I'm too down to earth. I'm too real of a person at heart.
There's come fake love. You know that. Mm-hmm. Within it, you could be a successful doctor, man. It's going to be some fake people in the hospital coming up to you. So with great success comes fake love and imposterish friends. You know, it got stuff like that about that in the Bible. I know what you're saying, though. It do bring unwarranted attention to you. That's what I later learned, you know what I'm saying, on my journey, that the material things just bring you unwanted. I started to know that everybody, you know, certain things, it's an age that you go through where you going to do some of this knucklehead stuff. And I just started noticing when they started getting extreme, I'm like, okay, something must be changing about me because the things I'm getting bigger and costing more. And everybody I know had these things end up in federal prison. When you drive a brand new Mercedes or you drive a Bentley or whatever, they ain't got to know you to know, hey, homie, he's somebody.
No, don't get it twisted now, Jugg. I like them diamonds now. You know?
Oh, yeah. Man,
I'm gonna have a couple of pieces now. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep a little something in my ear and on my pinky. You know, that just me. You know,
that was my key this year. I'm saying the jury is a thing that I like most because you can turn it on and turn it off. You put it on when you feel like wearing it. As to where, as I'm saying, you're driving a nice car. I never got into that part of it. For one, because everybody I know got the nicest of cars in my business went to the Fed. So
shine and bring unwanted eyes.
Yeah.
We're getting out here to mix with a lot of these people, man, who may be living a certain life that you're getting away from. You know, even just riding with guys. You know, that's something they used to say all the time, like, watch the people you hang with. Who are your friends?
But that's what I wanted to tap. I'm glad you brought that up, too.
Yeah, like, I remember years ago, man, when MySpace was out, Pee-wee, my boy Pee-wee, he was locked up, right? And Pee-wee said, man, he said, Chop, man, be careful online on social media. He said a lot of guys getting caught up on conspiracy charges on the internet, reaching out to some of the old guys. Dude just throwing your name in the mix because of social media. Knowing you done outgrew your old friends or old associates. Man, how important you think that is, man, for young men to understand that, because that's not something we were taught when it comes to the stages of life, growing or outgrowing people that you used to know.
That's a part of life that's definitely coming. You're going to outgrow people. Everybody ain't going to go. Man, it's going to be somebody watching this right now and they 20. You got a partner that you think, man, that's going to be my dog till I die. And then at some point in life, y'all just going to not talk. You got to go 2 weeks without talking. It's going to turn into a month. That month going to turn into 6 months, a year. That's not saying y'all ain't going to talk again in life. I'm saying it's going to come a point when you and homie just ain't going to talk. Y'all just going to drift apart. You'll be like, damn, man, they don't my best friend. We was talking every day. But that just, everybody ain't going to go. People grow apart, man. We have different things we get into. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what people got going on behind the scenes, like what they doing in the closet. And I ain't talking about no salacious stuff. I'm talking about people have drug habits. People that be artists and they trying to work on it. And you ain't never supported their artistry the whole time y'all was in the 20s. So now they tap into somebody that support them and they see what a real friend is. It's going to be some of that go on, man. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be some of that go on, man.
You know, you just touched on something, man. I want to say this to some of our peers, lifestyle choices and habits. You know, Jugg, man, my mom, rest her soul, she ended up passing because of end-stage renal failure because of alcohol, from drinking. Yeah. And, man, she was in a nursing home. Yeah, she was roommate with Dorothy May, man, my homeboy Sugar Poo mama, man. Shout out to Sugar Poo. And I go up there, you know, chill with her, you know, take food to eat with her, fellowship with her. But when I walked around, man, I realized something, man. All these people was people from the neighborhood, but they was out in their 50s, 40s. They was our age. So they were young, man. But it was all because of lifestyle choices, bad lifestyle choices. Drinking, smoking, pill popping. I lost 4 people last year from poor lifestyle choices. My boy Tony out of Ohio.
Yeah.
My homegirl Juanita Piper. My cousin Brandon.
Juanita Piper, man?
Juanita Piper. My cousin Brandon Coulter and Freaking Free.
I heard about both of them. Jason Tatum, they was all within days of each other, weeks.
Man.
Isaac Williams from the Quarters. Roy Lowe. Man, we can go on to Watch It Wesley.
To Watch It, man.
Man, we could, you know, Omar Washington. Hell, even my OG Jay Brady from this battle back in 2007. We've been battling this epidemic for a while. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that from our class, our era that passed, you know what I'm saying? But it is an epidemic of drug overdoses in our hometown. And it's out of control, man. If I don't know 20 people, 20 natural, real people, and I'm really going low by 20 because I'm thinking of 4 or 5 right now. Like the more we talk about it, the more people come up. It's ridiculous, man. And that is traumatizing for anybody. That's traumatizing for anybody, man. To see 100 people out of your peer group die from one thing in the course of 4 or 5 years, that's crazy. And that's not including all the murders we got going on back home. Like I know 4 or 5 of my peers that done lost kids. That's unheard of. My mama didn't live like that. When my mom was 45, she might have knew one individual who lost a child tragically in the streets. I know 5 parents. And I know more than that, but I'm just saying, once again, the number 5 is easy. I can rattle off 5 names in a matter of seconds of parents that have lost kids to gun violence. That's unheard of, bro. That's traumatizing. That ain't nothing nobody should be getting used to. That shouldn't be the new normal for no generation, no people, no community.
In this conversation, man, it's not just in hopes to awaken the youth, but hope to awaken their parents. Because these youngsters are our kids.
Yeah.
And it's the parents that's holding on to these old habits that these kids done picked up. You know what I'm saying? And man, it's like, it reminds me of that movie. Remember Boys in the Hood when the little baby ran in the street and the mama was in the door and the old boy got the baby out the street? It's like that. We so distracted on old habits
that we watching our kids running the street. I like that proverbial. I like that. But I don't want to blame the parents because there's a lot of good folks losing kids as well. We also do know it becomes a disconnect from that 17 to 25 years to where them kids think they know more than the parents. Right. Stuff you tried to drill into their heads as a youngster, it's just they had some of that stuff they had to go witness and see for themselves. You and I did it. We just happened to come out on the right end of it. So I don't want to blame. I don't want to blame the parents. I don't know, Jugg. It's some poor parenting going on, but I know some good people that lost some kids. Their fathers had to put their sons in the ground, bro.
Yeah, I know a couple too, but I know some now that's fighting they son because that goes into the conversation about how we lead for the future generation. Yeah. How we show up today, holding on to that old self. The stuff that we gain respect from, we carry that on to our older years. Yeah. And so our kids see that, so we keep that act. You know how we do sometimes. We not just leave with our pockets, but we leave with our past to prove that we real. To prove
you're 45, 50 years old and you still playing in the street like a toddler. We talking to you, man. Grow the fuck up. Go get it right, man. This ain't it.
Yeah, Jugg. I'm gonna tell you, Jugg. This how it be, right? Because I'm guilty of this at this point in my life, right? Some guys get stuck in that because that's where they got their respect as a man.
Yeah.
And so when you think about this, right? When you in your teens, you saw the women, you saw the elders, you saw certain people only give you respect when you jump off the porch. Yeah. When you was being a good guy, you ain't getting no respect. You got looked at like a weirdo, they brush you off. But you saw all the guys around you get their respect. So then fast forward, you're in your 20s. And your baby mama still respecting the dude that's getting the bag that got the shine. They got them stones on.
Yeah. And you come home from a hard day's work, she on the phone with a homegirl, they gossiping about what Lil Ray them doing in the street.
Right. In their 20s. And then you hear it in your 30s. Now by the grace, I didn't hear all that myself personally. I wasn't that guy, but I saw it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so for me, the difference was I didn't change my circle. Now, I had an opportunity to embrace guys that wasn't in that kind of circle, in that lifestyle, but I still was in that circle. You know what I mean? And so, granted, my mind was outside of that, but my body was there. You know what I'm saying? So my conversation still was there. You know what I mean? Because I was still in that circle. And so, for some guys, they still get stuck in there because they don't get the opportunity to really get a good woman or get people around them that respect them for their intellect and for their hard work, because they still around certain people that's having them them little boy and little girl conversation, the things they respect from the past.
Yeah, they respect you from that bullshit. Yeah, and bro, it's since you put it from that perspective, there's a lot of people gonna die with that persona. They'll never get to rewrite it. Like, I'm so blessed. I'm so thankful God blessed me to be able to rewrite my legacy. You get what I'm saying? Because at one point I was gonna die. The nigga who made $1 million out the street trying to rap, who was trying to rap his whole life. You know, that was gonna be the story if I ain't find trucking and podcasting and WDH apparel. If I wasn't able to reinvent myself, because you believe one thing, I'm gonna go get to a bag, and that might have been my story. So I thank God for giving me the brain capability to say, hey man, this story ain't gonna end well, brother. You know what I'm saying? You better start changing things about it. And bro, it happened at the right time, man. You know, I got grandkids now that I wouldn't dare want my grandson to think for 5 minutes that his OG going to the streets to get his. You know, his grandpa, like that don't even go together. My grandpa,
it don't even sound right.
Nah, nigga, he gonna say my grandpa was a truck driver. My grandpa owned 18 wheeler. My grandpa got a clothing line. My grandpa did something on his phone where he was talking and on the laptop and he was on TV. Yeah, I rewrote that legacy. That ain't, man. Listen, bro, it's a beautiful thing. It was a time that I made a song. Ask my kids. I ain't had a job in 100 years, but they ain't missed a single meal since they been here. And you know what I'm saying? And I'm saying that to say I didn't rewrote that to well. I think I've been out the streets long enough to where they don't even remember when I was in it. But it was a time when you could ask my kids, where your daddy work at? And they be like, my dad ain't had a job since. You feel me? Mm-hmm. And I rewrote all that, bro. I changed all that. So that's a blessing to me, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I own businesses. I'm doing the how it's supposed to go, bro. I'm doing the how it's supposed to go.
And Jugg, that's a beautiful thing, you know, impacting the future generations like that. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. And it goes right back to the elders that we overlook. We're going to have to sit down at some point anyway. So you're going to have to walk the straight and narrow regardless.
Don't get a head start on change. Figure that now. Why? Oh, you're going to be the old nigga in jail because you ain't going but two places. You're going to die or you're going to jail.
That's it and that's all.
You probably looking at this screen and saying, man, these old niggas crazy, they scared, but I promise you, I did it at a high level, man. Everything you think you want to do in the streets, I done did it. Probably twice, for real, for real. And I'm still going to sit here to tell you, ain't but two ending routes. You know why I'm not a millionaire today? Because I went to jail. You're going to jail, brother. And it's up to you how long you're going to go for. So I'm just telling you, man, I'm not lying. I'm not, what's that new word? I'm not projecting.
And say cat.
I don't hustle no more. I'm not projecting. Nah, they tell you projecting your feelings on them or you projecting your life on them. I'm not projecting with this one. You're going to jail or you're going to the graveyard selling dope, man.
You don't even have to do it like that. You know what I'm saying? And still get caught up. You can do it down here. You can do it down here and still get 20 years.
Yeah, you ain't got to be no kingpin to go to jail.
Nah, man.
Nah, you could be your first time, man. We got an NFL star, Jamal Lewis. Made a phone. All he did was put two people together. I introduced an old friend of mine to a new friend of mine. And now I got to go do 2 years in the feds. That's how quick it happened. This boy was a millionaire. Was finna sign the biggest contract for an NFL running back would have been ever at that time. And that introduction put him in. So yeah, man, it ain't just, you know, I always used to tell the youngsters, hey man, it don't stop. People think selling drugs is, I hand you a product, you give me the money and we separate and it's over. No, it's not. No, it's not. It go way beyond that. You can sell somebody something, they get caught with it, tell, come back, get some more. And now you got a whole baby conspiracy or drug trafficking. It's never just, once the transaction over, you think, I'm good now, baby. I'm glad that's over with. I wish it was that easy. It's never that easy.
You're going to keep it real or be realistic. And realistically, you got to grow the stages of life. If you want to know how to run it, you got to pay attention to the ones that have done it. You know, you ain't got to learn the hard way. Like people say, I need to experience X, Y, Z in order to learn. No, you don't.
Blow your million trying to figure something out. Watch Joe blow his million and say, okay, so I know I don't need to do it that way. Definitely, you got to learn from other people's mistakes, man. You got to see how your Uncle Travis turned up. Okay, Uncle Travis sold dope forever. I ain't never known Uncle Travis to work. He's not rich. I don't think that's the route I want to run. Or, you know what I'm saying? My uncle said drive trucks. Uncle said they never had no money problems. I think that's the route I want to run. Follow the examples that's right there in front of you, bro. It's naturally gonna tell you it's on its own. All you gotta do is come up in life and ask what two people did coming up, and they're gonna tell you. And that's gonna tell you how you need to move. You never go, it's rare you're gonna see the person who they say, man, when we were little, he had kilos. He was rich, nice foreign cars. All the female, that motherfucker be walking homeless. He be on the wino store. He be a wino.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you something about being rich. Not being rich, fuck with you when you ain't rich no more. Because if you're in the streets long enough and you're playing at a high enough level, you're gonna take losses. So this is what ain't nobody will tell you. Being rich fun, it's beautiful. I've been there. But not being rich anymore after you once been rich is traumatizing. A man get depressed. It changes you as a person, man. The way you gonna look at yourself after you blow $1 million. And man, I don't want to hear that you can't do it. Because I done did it a couple times. I'm telling you, bro. I am not lying to you. The way you gonna look at yourself when you go down after that, being up that high, it'll mentally destroy you. And that's why you see kingpins at the liquor store. That's why you see kingpins smoking crack. And that's why you see kingpins stuck. Because it's traumatizing to lose all that money. And I don't even recommend a person do it to themselves. That's why I tell you, man, go to working man out the gate.
Man, you talking to somebody you dealt with self. I was only a 6-figure guy for a long time. To drop down to 5 is heartbreaking shit.
That's what I'm telling you, bro.
But it's a blessing. But it's a blessing. And that's why I always say, man, it's really about having a plan. Because the stages of life, man, if you prepare yourself young, which is something I'm trying to teach my niece right now. She's 15.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to teach her about finance and structure and consistency, discipline, and learning yourself through your finances and your spending habits. Because that's what's going to set you up for your future. If you start in your teens and start investing now, first of all, start saving now.
Yeah.
Stop focusing on materialism. If you do, get fly, but keep it, minimal. Save, start investing early. I told her by the time you 30, 35, you could be retiring one time. You know what I'm saying? Just starting off with your own money and live the good life, right? Well, maybe you want to get in trucking, man. I got a brother named Debo. Shout out to Debo. First brother I knew had a crib in Sugar Land.
All right.
And so Debo, you don't know if you're watching this or not, but I'm gonna tell you business. I used to cut his son hair. His son had stuff. But Debo came by about some from him one time. He came in town, and so he pulled up in his new Volvo truck.
Yeah.
And so I was finna get ready to dip and go finish doing my 1-2. He's like, "Hey, chill with me." He always, let me chill with him, So I'm sitting in the truck. I'm like, "Yeah, man, it's a nice truck." He said, "Yeah, bro." He said, "Listen, the same thing you out there doing, you can have all that doing this." He didn't know what CD sold in my life, that Jugg. But you know what, bro? I made it my goal to do that. And by the grace of God, I was able to do that. And I'm still doing it to this day. So shout out to Debo, man. And shout out to Cynthia, too.
One of the best moves you could have made, man. One of the best moves you could have made. I tell any one of my partners in the bind, they in that crossroad stages. Youngster, they ain't got to be one of my partners. Anybody in my community. And my community is, if you come in contact with me, you're a part of my ecosystem. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not, you can't even breathe the same oxygen I'm breathing, baby boy. I'm just not going to be around you. But it's people in my circle, I tell the same thing. Get your CDL, bro. You'll never have money problems no more. And depending on how you go about it, it can make you rich and it can just pay your bills, but you won't have money problems. And a trade. I tell you youngsters, a trade gonna change your life. A trade will change your life, man. Like, I ain't opposed to you going to college. But even that don't work the way it's supposed to all the time. But I'm still not opposed to it. But a trade, you're gonna get some money off of that right then. And then most trades, if you execute right, you can be a business owner fairly soon too. You know what I'm saying? You can be in your field 5 years, maybe 10 years max, and become an owner of an air conditioning place or a trucking company or a plumbing company, you know. And you can still do that going to college too, but I'm just telling you, you know what I'm saying? What I tell you, man, you need, because most of these kids needing right now money. They be coming from impoverished situations and they don't have the time to wait. Somebody needs some help right then. I got a baby on the way. You know, my mama's struggling. I need right now money. You know what I'm saying? So go get you a trade when you need some right now money and you're trying to contribute something into your household and make everybody situation. Because, like I say, going down the dope dealing route, dead or jail, brother. I'm going to sound like a breaking record because I got to tell you, you're going to jail, man. I got to say it one more time. You're going to jail.
What was that moment in your life that made you mature as a man that was a start of your maturity?
Well, of course, I always tell you prison, but the start and the change of me wanting to exit the drug business was when I was telling you, one time I counted some bread. I counted up like $100 and something $1,000. Next day, I make a big purchase in more drugs, probably about 60 to 70 grand. So, boom, I shoot that home and I lose it. I lose the pack, and then I got to burn these people out of jail. So I say to myself at that point, like, I really don't want to keep doing this. You know what I'm saying? Because it took a lot of work to get to where I was. And then imagine you set yourself a goal, and as soon as you get to that goal, the first day, God send you let you know that you're really not doing what you were anointed to do. Because I took a loss. I counted the money, that was like a hood dream of mine to get that 100K. And boom, I lose it. And that was the beginning of me saying, I want to do something different, man. Even though at the whole time I'm in the game, I'm pursuing rap. But that just used to be light the fire under me more I got to get out to these streets. You know what I'm saying? That's why I always rapped at a high level and I really consider myself professional because I really wanted to give myself a shot. I ain't want to do bootleg shit and not give myself the proper opportunity to get out these streets, man. But that was the beginning of it. That was it. And then, of course, like I said, I'm going to mention prison, man. My last time in prison, man. I'm really saying, like, then that's when it got to the point. I can't do none of this shit no more. I don't want to do no music no more. I'm not selling no drugs no more. None of it. Because music to me always equated to, I got to have money. You know what I'm saying? The money going to come from here. So I'm just not fucking with none of it no more. You know what I'm saying? I'm finna go get my CD here and try something different. And here I am. You know what I'm saying?
So would you say even choosing to do music, because I see a lot of guys transition to that, so would you say even that can be somewhat of
a deterrence?
Well, not so much of a deterrence, but it can somewhat kind of keep you in that same circle, even though you're trying to use it as an escape. Because it's still, the lifestyle is similar.
Okay, if you're using somebody else's money to invest in music, it's not the same as going sell dope, risking to get 50 years to do music. So if I could have found an investor, I probably would still be in music in a capacity. I just can't be the man that got to come with the capital now. You get what I'm saying? I always was my own record label. I would have did it in some capacity if certain deals would have came through. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you, if the DJ Khaled deal came through, that would have freed up me risking my freedom. I get that deal. I ain't got to risk my freedom for studio time for videos and the state flight. Music gonna facilitate all this. You see what I'm saying? So, of course I'd do it if I ain't got to put my life on the line to do it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Right on.
That's why I'm able to execute at the podcast level pretty good. I'm consistent, efficient because I ain't relying on that to pay my bills. And same thing with the clothing line. I ain't relying on the clothing line. Like I already got that part straight. Now I could really focus on these two crafts and execute at a high level and do things right. Be professional. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And man, I'm proud of you too, Jugg. Man, that's WDHTV on YouTube. If you all don't know, as well as WDH Apparel that you can get online right now. And man, You know, Joe, another thing I see, man, with some of our peers as well, something I struggle with from time to time, man, is that, maintaining that respect from other men who may not know they disrespecting you. You know, that ego still step in, man. I had to catch myself about a month ago on the job. I had an issue on the job where I had an issue with a piece of equipment, right?
Yeah.
And so I called the shop to let them know I had a problem. So the dude on the phone saying some slick stuff, right? He being funny. He's being smart, being funny, right? I go over there to the shop. Hey, where's such and such? He there. So I go shake his hand. I'm like, yeah, man, I'm what's the name? I spoke to you yesterday on the phone. You know, he not looking in my eyes. He not acknowledging me. He's blowing me off. So I squeeze his hand. He trying to pull his hand away. I squeeze his hand even harder. You know, he trying to pull his hand away. I squeeze his hand some more to the point where he pulled his hand away. He knocked his head off his head when he ran and tried to report me and all this here. And so I'm like, man, fuck a whole ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? So I walked off, right? Hey, come then he come back, man. Hey, come back. I'm like, man, fuck y'all. You know, that ego could have cost me my livelihood. Anything. What if he working around heavy machinery? What if he would have bapped me up across my head or something, or jugged me or something, you know what I'm saying, with something. But their respect, breaking out of that mindset for a lot of guys, man, can really be bad at our age. So, and have you experienced anything like that, man? I know I'm tripping. She said, ain't a question about whether or not I'm tripping, because some stuff we could just brush off and just walk away from.
You were tripping in that instance. It's funny you asked that I experienced something like that last weekend, Father's Day, 2025. I was same scenario. A guy pulled out in front of me. I'm doing like 40, 45 miles an hour on a 2-lane road. On a 4-lane road, so it's 2 lanes going each way. But he pulled out in front of me, he doing 10, and I'm doing 45 miles an hour. So of course, I could have, if I'd hit him from the back, it's gonna be a nice impact. Mm-hmm. So I pulled on side of him and we started I'm goddamn man, why you bitch ass nigga. So we bar fighting, cursing each other out, and next thing I know, I see a pistol come up. And bow. Once I seen the pistol, I hit the brakes to create some separation. Mm. And boom, my window shadowed. Dang. And he went on by this way. And
you was by yourself or you had the family?
I was by myself. I had woke up and ran to Walmart. This was like I say, Father's Day morning, like afternoon this morning. It was around 11:30. I was running to Walmart to do something right quick because my kids was on the way. And so definitely my ego done got in the way. That was an ego. That could have been totally avoidable. That man tried to shoot me in my face, man. The shot hit face level, you get what I'm saying, of the window. And to me, it wasn't no big deal. I texted my family a picture of the window, like, man, you ain't gonna believe this shit just happened. Because to me, like, it's a normal occurrence in Houston. You see road rage incidents, and I'm the one that preached to my family. Yeah. And I'm telling them, don't be blowing your horn, because these youngsters gonna do you something. And the one that's always doing the preaching was the one who was made example out of. So I'm glad it was me that's the example, so they can see that. See, even Superman get shot. The one who telling you don't do it, I let my ego get in the way and lost my temper. And look what could have happened. And I'm naked. I ain't got nothing to shoot back. I'm naked. You feel me? So this was a one-way gunfight. And I tell them all the time, though. So I definitely had those instances, man. And I promise, bro, I'm a truck driver like you, so I practice no road rage because I've had guns pulled on me twice in a truck. That was the first time somebody ever fired a shot. That was my personal vehicle. But twice I've had people in their vehicles pull pistols out while I'm on the job. So I'm big on my family, though. Don't be blowing the horn. Don't be doing all that because people got their stuff with them, and you never know what they're going through, and you're going to be the deciding factor to push them over the edge.
That's why I always say sometimes our ego be attached to our past. You know what I mean? Because we feel like we got a point to prove because we feel like we still them niggas. You know what I'm saying?
We feel like we still them niggas.
Yeah, man.
We all still them niggas, man, but we ain't got shit to prove. We just sometimes, I always say, it take a real mature person, a cool, calm person to always walk away because it just does, man. We men, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes it's not the ego. Some people just don't tolerate disrespect.
That's
And
right.
I gotta respect the man that don't tolerate disrespect. You know what I'm saying? Like if you disrespect it and you react and something happened to you, I'm sympathetic. I'm like, damn, I wish that. But sometimes, you know, people always love to talk about what's putting it all on the line for. And some things are worth putting it all on the line. Ego, nah. But your family, somebody disrespect, hurt, harm, or trying to, your family, it might be worth going out over. Somebody trying to humiliate you, it might be worth going out over, depending on the circumstances. But, you know.
Man, we petty, man. We petty, man. There was two petty scenario. We too grown for that.
That was petty. But we talking about the people who
I know my
just some
situation
people
was
don't
petty.
handle
I knew better.
disrespect well.
Right.
They ain't worth it, bro. I promise you. When you 40 and you done did 15 years in jail because you killed somebody that disrespected you, gonna say, damn. You know how often I get disrespected by these guards in here? And I actually killed somebody for that. The same thing I killed somebody for, I got tolerated every day because of where I'm at. That'd be the irony of certain situations like that.
Right. Like where we come from, man, it's like it's either jail or getting shot or getting stabbed or something that changed your life.
Mm-hmm.
Or in some cases, it be children. You know, having to step into fatherhood. I like what you said, man. You know, it ain't worth it. It's not worth it at the end of the day because you don't want to be in a position where you have to humble yourself. It's like, man, I saw a video of this lady, man. She was comforting her grandson in an interrogation room.
Oh,
and
yeah.
She told him, all you had to do was listen to what we was teaching you, baby. And you could have been, you know, I even see guys sometimes go to the military. Yeah. And they wait till the drill sergeant tell them to make their bed up, wash their ass, you know, fold your clothes. You know, but most of the time it started at home first. It's never 100% on one person. But me personally, because I have a personal situation with my sibling, where I put it on the parents. Yeah. You know, because for a lot of us, Jugg, if we really be honest with ourselves, right? Like we do have the proper help and the proper guidance and support, but we don't embrace it. Yeah. You know, we embrace the wrong shit. You know, and we feel like our family and loved ones ain't good enough to tell us nothing because they know our personal flaws. You know, because people always look at people and their imperfections on whether or not they're gonna take advice from them. Man. That's why they'll take advice from a stranger because they don't know the stranger.
People look at status. People look at status. You know what I'm saying? If you rich and got some money, or if you the uncle that look like you got some motion, the kids ain't got to know how you get it. They listen to Uncle Jack. Yeah. You know, because Uncle Jack, when Uncle Jack come around, everybody treat Uncle Jack with respect. They know Uncle Jack the one. He coming in with the, you know, when the barbecue go on, he the one financing it. And he could be a dentist. He could be a firefighter. He just got a good job. So status too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's messed up. That's what's going on in black communities. Because I ain't gonna sit and say I don't think that's what's going on in white communities. You see, they be rich as hell and their kids will be disrespectful. Mom, fuck you, mom. But black kids, you know, they respect come with your level of success. And that's unfortunate. We was taught and raised to respect your elders, period. Other thing we got to do as black folks, we got to be willing to be the one to sacrifice for the good of the family. If one of us go get that good life insurance policy right, we just don't think that far ahead, go get that $2 million life insurance policy. We could change the direction of where our kids, our lineage, our bloodline, we could change our bloodline by doing that. By a simple life insurance policy, go get a $2 million life insurance policy. You leave it to a trust. You allocate certain amounts of monies to people when they get certain ages. So that $2 million insurance policy you got in the year 2000, gonna be worth $4.5 million in 2025. You pass on, you leave it to your kids. He get $10,000 a month. The money's still maturing. Now when he 25, that $4 million gonna be $18 million. And now it's just generational wealth all being handed down through trust funds, and it started from one somebody sacrificing and going to pay $100 a month for the big policy. And I ain't saying you got to be living broke. They got whole life insurance policies where you can borrow against it. You know, once the policy matures, you can go borrow you $100,000 against that policy to go start your business. So you ain't got to be working a job your entire life, or go buy you a house. Maybe you do want to work a job and you want to go buy you a house and you don't want to have a house note. Go get you a whole life insurance policy, borrow from that policy, buy your house, and pay yourself back. No interest and none of all the foolishness that go on. So we just got to play the game they playing is my point. I ain't want to be long-winded, but I think that was an important part of this conversation, and I think that knowledge needs to be had because we think it's only one way to get to where we're going. You get what I'm saying? We think it's only one highway we can take to success when there's multiples, man. Just somebody got to step up and sacrifice and say, hey, I'm going to start this thing. You know what I'm saying? Don't say Jugg and J. Paul ain't gave you no game, man. Go get you $1 million, $2 million life insurance policy. It might cost you $150 a month, but it's going to change the course and trajectory of your bloodline if it's handled properly. Don't say we ain't tell you.
A lot of our issues is just a matter of having information, like you sharing right now.
Yeah.
You know, just proper structure, man, because the men we saw in our lives, man, a little took them a long way. They did a lot with a little bit. And, you know, this ain't about glorifying the past. It's about letting the past go and growing past that, because we're at a different stage in life. As fathers, as husbands, we have to plan according to our stages of life and manhood. And you have to prepare yourself, not just mentally and spiritually, but also financially. And so with the proper structure and information, you can do that to not be a statistic.
Yeah.
So I plead with you all out there in our communities, men and community leaders, please make it your job and duty to minister, uplift, and lead the young men in your families first. I know a lot of times, a lot of brothers may be afraid to talk to the young men as they cross paths with them. Consider the fact that you were once them. And if that's the case, just know they need the help, they need the love, they need the embracing. And please do so accordingly.
Salute to J. Paul for having me. Hey, man, stop the fence, stop the killing, and enjoy life, man. You got to live. That's what I want to tell you. You got to live, man.
While we had this opportunity, I want to do this podcast is to also shine light. Pillars in the community that were also examples of greatness. Those are people who typically pass away and their names get lost in history. And so while I had this mic and this camera in my face, man, I always try to acknowledge people like I did Big Mike earlier and my grandfather earlier.
Yeah.
You know, who were guys that some people may not see to be as great as a Martin Luther King or Malcolm X, but to me, they are. Uncle June, that's Mr. Wilbur Weekly.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to my wife, Mama Deb.
I know them personally.
Also, shout out to Mr. Ellis, Mr. Hertz, Mr. John O. Williams, and his wife, Miss Williams. Also, Miss Savannah, Gil grandmother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Miss Barbara, his mama.
Yeah.
You know, also want to give a shout out to Miss Early Mae Johnson, Miss BB, you know what I mean, which is my grandmother's best friend. Miss Bell, my sister's grandmother, who was one of the first Black franchise owners in Alexandria. You know what I'm saying? She had an ice cream stand, a Dairy Queen out there. My cousin Eric B. You know, Isaiah Horton. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Isaiah, man, big homie, man. These are guys, man, that I saw that left the community, man, went to the military, man, built a life for themselves, man, and stayed committed to something, dedicated to a cause to be better men. And, you know, man, I will give a shout out and respect to them, man. Much respect.
Much respect, man. Salute to all of those he named.
Yes, sir.
Most
yes, sir.
I know, personally.
D-Ray, you know you all, man. D-Ray the barber. What up, D-Ray?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, for sure,
Alexander
man.
put out some great people, man, and some great talent, man. It's just, you know, the ones that should have made it, I guess they made it. But we got some talent. We come from a different place, man. You know, some great people came from Alexandria, man. We done had a few examples. Juan Pierre, Natalie DeSalle, DJ Chalk. We done had a few examples of the greatness that could come out of that city, but that's a great melting pot for talent and just good souls. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can honestly say that we come from a great place, man. And if it wasn't for culture and environment and just things that's going on to society, that place will still be a great place to raise a family and to be brought up in. It's too small to sustain the epidemic that's on in it right now. But man, we come from a good place, man. Like for real.
Even Coach Smith. Was Coach Smith. I played basketball as a youngster, man. That was the first coach I ever had.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Playing basketball, at Peabody on the weekends.
Yeah. Turner. Man, Coach Turner was instrumental in a lot of young boys' life. Reverend Dupont. That's why I brought them up. Because I was specifically talking about the people who came through in the sports aspect, the sports realm, and tried to change a lot of young boys' life. The Weeklies. Salute to them. That was my ride to and from practice for a time. When my mama had to work, she doing a single parent thing. The Weeklies made sure I got to and from practice. Me and their son Trey was teammates. So yeah, man, I definitely put a spotlight on them. Shout out Willie Davis, Willie D. Davis, the one who used to coach at Jones Street, won 3 and 4 or 5 junior high championships. Had several players go to Peabody and win championships. Salute to Willie D because he made an impact in the community as well.
Floyd, man, rest in peace of Floyd, my boy Alexis and JJ still dead, man. Started a basketball league in the neighborhood. We was coming up, man. We used to go play the Boys and Girls Club in the Sonia quarters, man. And we used to practice in their front yard on the side of the street, man. We had a pretty good team.
I can't think of my man that ran the Boys and Girls Club. Shout out to him. Yeah, he impacted a lot of lives in the community too. If you've been to the Boys Club, you know who I'm talking about. He ran it my whole life. So you know who I'm talking about. Shout out to you though, man. Shout out to him. When it was across the street from churches to when they moved it over there by the city park. Yeah, man, salute to him, man. I can't think of his name just because I want to say it.
Yeah, and man, you spoke on coaches that's outside of the community, man. I had 2 coaches, man, when I played baseball myself. Coach Jared and Wayne Berlin. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to them, man.
Bro,
shout out to Coach Berlin.
I swear to God, man. When you said it, I was finna say, man, shout out Coach Berlin, man.
Yeah.
That's a good white man right there. That's a good person.
Yeah, that's a good person.
I want the audience to know we talking about a white man. Coach Berlin, man, that's a good dude, man. That was my driver's ed instructor. That was my baseball coach for years. He was my coach in high school. I was around this man for 10, 12 years, man. He good people, man. Could be a stand-up comedian. All you got to do is give him a microphone.
And he's another example of those guys that I talked about as far as like humility, even though you got it.
Yeah.
What do we prioritize? He drove that old ass truck, but lived in that fly ass crib in Shenandoah. You know what I mean?
So did. Didn't care about, bro. He cared about baseball and the kids, man.
Yeah.
This man, listen to me, man. When I understand life now, back then I ain't look at it like nothing. The man was a baseball coach. He was a coach at a high school and a teacher. He taught driver's ed. This man didn't make time much for himself, bro. Everything he did contributed to the community. And that's not to say he didn't get paid for some of these things, but man, that's contributing to the community, man. All 3 of this man's jobs I just named got something to do with children and making sure their future is different. He worked at the YMCA with the driver's ed. He did driver's ed at Ash. He coached baseball at Ash, but barely with Coach, my boy whose son played for the Cowboys. Coach Bonnier. Bonnier was the head coach. Berlin always was the assistant. Coach Bonnier, Chris Bonnier was a kicker for the Dallas Cowboys when they won the Super Bowl. But yeah, man, Coach Berlin, man, he that's one of them ones, bro. Everything he did from when I growing up was to help kids, man. This man had 3 jobs and all of them had something to do with children.
And the reason I give them dudes they props, man, because all my years of playing baseball, man, if Mama Deborah Weekly didn't pay for it, man, they did. They paid for me to play all those years, man. Yeah, they ain't from my neighborhood.
No.
And they picked me up for practice.
And they picked me up for practice.
They came to Woodside and picked me up for practice, man. So, man, we saw real greatness, man, and just good men in the community, man. Mr. Rachel, Roger's grandfather.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Perry, man, just had great men that I witnessed in the community. Mr. Lavallee.
Around you, man. That little cut you stayed in, everywhere you look, it was some good examples, man. It was definitely some good examples to be had, to be for real.
Mr. Eddie Williams. I was around when he was alive.
Yeah.
You with Mr. Eddie Williams, with the street named after.
The street, yeah.
The male presence alone makes a difference. Male presence makes a difference. And I'm pretty sure you notice in some of our friends and our peers' life, you see how they move, the ones that didn't have male figures in their life. Ones who didn't get the opportunity to play sports. One who didn't have opportunity to have. Now, shout out to Jeffrey Sykes, too, and his father, man, Reverend Wade Sykes. Brian Sanders out there, man, at the Rise Church, man, that's doing things through his youth program for the youth that come out of juvenile corrections.
Salute my boy Jet, man. My boy Jet, man, he's a coach and he coached baseball and basketball. And he one of them ones, man. He got quite a few of his boys that excel and go on to the next level. So shout out to Jet. Jet don't get no flowers for what he do. Like, he get his flowers in person, but I'm saying nobody with no platform shout him out. So I'm gonna shout him out because people seeing this, they know Coach Jet, Coach Prime. Yeah, that boy got something, man. He really
shout out Jet.
They won a championship a few years ago. I had posted some pictures on my Instagram and stuff. Like, Jet dedicated to that, man. Like, and his son's just now getting old enough to compete. He was doing it before he even had a vested interest. It was just about the love for sports. So,
shout out Bo Weekly. Shout out Bo Weekly too. Trey Weekly out there doing it too. Shout out Bo Weekly. Yeah, shout out Bo Weekly. Yeah, shout out to Trey. Yeah, and to cousin Jay, man, Jay McKinney too. You know what I'm saying? He working out there in the church and like what he was doing with Toastmasters, I saw some years ago. So shout out to Jay if he's still doing his good work. I'm sure he still is. And shout out to Jay, man, Jay McKinney. Yes, sir. So, man, on that, man, Jugg, man, I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you having me, man. It's always a pleasure when we link up and have these conversations, man, especially when we can do something to try to just reach each one, teach one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, man, till next time, man. Respect and salute, bro.
Likewise, brother. One.
Turn up your fucking dick.